Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bravo Breakdown on the Jess Sayin podcast. We are recapping Season 20, Episode 3 of The Real Housewives of Orange County. This episode is titled, Why Can't We Be Friends? Okay, so let's get into it. We start off with Tamra and Sophia. They are packing up as Sophia is moving to LA. Sophia has a boyfriend, Nico, who Tamra has said she likes a lot. And we learn he lives 10 minutes away from where Sophia is moving. Tamra said she has been raising kids for 40 years. God bless you, Tamra. Tamra says she needs to nurture her relationship with Eddie, her husband. We then pan over to Emily. She is meeting Dr. Tim, who we originally know as Shannon's trainer. Emily says she lost 40 pounds in 9 months and goes to the gym every day. Shannon then shows up to meet her. Shannon said she has been seeing Dr. Tim for 10 years. And honestly, he looks like he's doing these really painful adjustments on the ladies. Those cracking chiropractor videos on the internet, just on Instagram and TikTok, they're addicting. I do admit I love watching people get their back cracked. I think there is actually a chiropractor that I do follow from the OC that people are like in tears, getting their back and their neck, and he does legs and all the parts. So it's addicting to watch, but I'm so nervous to get my back cracked. It looks like so relieving, but at the same time, they do look like they're in pain. I've always been nervous. Always wanted to try, but I'm nervous. So, do you guys go to the chiropractor and get your back cracked? Let me know. Okay, so then Shannon tells Emily she was biting her tongue at her birthday party when she was talking with Tamra. She says, I thought it was outrageous. Tamra said she was keeping Emily from iHeart events, but now she can start inviting her, and then oh, that was just a joke, kind of going back to the whole podcasting feud. I thought they just kind of swept this under the rug, but I guess this actually never resolved because they're flashing back to the old lady bingo party. And, Tamra's telling Emily she was keeping her from iHeart events. Now they can start inviting her. Emily didn't take it. Well, she's like, I'm just joking. And then Emily was like, yeah, she did that to say, I'm up here and you're down here. Shannon says, it's exhausting. We then kind of pan back to Tamra and Eddie moving Sophia into her apartment. Tamra tells Sophia Vicky wants Trace Amigas back and says, I'm all for moving forward. Her daughter Sophia says, be neutral. Yeah. LOL. Can Tamra be neutral? I don't know. She has an opinion. We then pan back to Emily and Shannon. The phone rings and Vicky is calling. Vicky asks Shannon if she wants to have lunch with her and Tamra. And Emily says, yes, you should. Vicky says, you don't have a choice. Be there or be square. Shannon says, I'm not going to be dumb and go back. Emily says, you can have boundaries and do things together. Shannon says, I thought we were good after Amsterdam, but then at the reunion, she kept telling me to shut up and they kept panning back. I kind of laughed. Sorry, Shannon. I thought it was a little funny, but it isn't nice to be repeatedly told to shut up. So I get it. We then pan over to Jen and Ryan. They are at this little eclectic shop. There's birds, plants, wind chimes. Definitely like a little artsy place. Jen asks Ryan, what is Tyler up to today? And we learn that Ryan has a daughter, Tyler, and they show a picture of her. I don't even think I knew Ryan had children. I actually can't remember this was mentioned in previous seasons. So let me know if I'm missing something in the comments, please. I feel like he had a son. I feel like we knew that. I didn't know he had a daughter. So Jen says she needs to talk to Greyson because since he got the speeding ticket, he's been beating himself up a lot. Ryan says, I think it's bigger than that. Jen says, you do? Ryan says, yeah, I see the change. It's the relationship he doesn't have with his dad. Ryan says, I would do anything to have a relationship with my children. We then learn Jen has full custody of her children and they're with her 7 days a week. Jen says to Ryan, same, but I'm divorced. Ryan says, you're taking it personal and I'm talking about a father. Jen says, I'm trying to compensate that their lives have changed. And she just starts crying and she says she needs to maintain shit with you, meaning Ryan. And Ryan says, let's just call a spade a spade. This is having an impact on the kids. Jen says, I hear you. I just need to figure out how to go about that. That's tough. She has 5 kids for a blended family. That has got to be extremely tough. Um, so I give kudos to her. I know what I love about Jen is she's always like willing to talk it out. Like she's like, I know I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure it out. She's like always open to a conversation, which I do love about her. We then pan over to Heather. She is on the phone with Emily. Heather says, I'm kind of bummed by Jen. I don't think she's malicious and I do like her, but the way she put a spin on the way she said like historical friends to Tamra at the reunion, she's kind of panning back to the reunion. Uh, eh, Heather was kind of insinuating that this was alluding to something else. Emily says, after we left, I'm in the kitchen with the kids, and I opened the Dior bag from Carmela, and she bought me a really beautiful gold clutch. Emily then says, at my party, though, she kept saying, are you going to open my gift? Are you going to open my gift? Emily's like, are you trying to be funny and give me a nice gift or show the rest of the women that you're a baller? Emily then says, I got a vibrator too. And while she's saying this, Terry kind of walks into the conversation with Heather. And Terry says, hey, it's kind of like a message. Like, if you don't like the bag, go fuck yourself. The greatest joke ever. Heather rolls her eyes and is like, seriously, Terry? We then pan over to Vicky, Gina, and Jen. There looks like they're meeting up for lunch or maybe breakfast. Gina asks Vicky's opinion on prenups. Gina says, I think it's smart to do, and Vicky says 100%. Vicky says her boyfriend Michael and her never commingle money. Gina says, are you engaged? Vicky says, well, he has a ring, and some days he gets mad at me and says, I'm not giving it to me. Jen says, why is he sitting on the ring? Vicky says, he doesn't need to get down on one knee. It's more of a joint decision with both of us. She then reveals tomorrow she is meeting with Tamra and Shannon for lunch. Vicky says, I want to move on. It's going back to a fight they had in the same time while Vicky was filming Ultimate Girls Trip, which I will be recapping too. I just want to know what happened. Gina says, cut the head off and move on from here. We then pan over to Jen. Emily comes over to her house to help her clean out her closet. Emily asks, what's going on with the kids? Jen says, after Greyson got his ticket, he stayed in his room. She's like, he's just withdrawing from something and she doesn't know what to do. Emily sympathizes because she says she felt that she abandoned her daughter Annabelle because she was having to focus so much on Luke in dealing with his conditions. So she's trying to make more of an effort with Annabelle. We then pan over to Tamra. She is visiting her friend Teddi Mellencamp, who is her co-host on 2T's podcast, and of course, was also on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We love Teddi. She is such a warrior. For those of you who don't know, Teddi had brain cancer. She had tumors removed. She's been through a lot. Teddi says the doctor said it just takes time to heal. And says, some people can't even walk after they have all these procedures and treatments. So I should be grateful that I'm actually able to work and get up and walk around and basically be as active as I am. But then she starts crying and says, sometimes I'm not grateful. And sometimes I feel like I'm letting everyone down. Tamra says, you're not letting anybody down. Teddi says, I don't have the same fire. Tamra says, you'll get it back. And then she says, well, okay, how are you feeling now? Tamra says, I feel like I finally got the best friend in you, meaning her and Teddi. And then I would go around these girls and I just felt like they didn't care. Teddi says you gotta have people you can tell the good, the bad, and the ugly to. You end up being the bigger asshole because you're so used to being disappointed. Teddi says just show up. Tamra says, thank you for being such a good friend. So then we pan over Gina and Travis are at dinner talking about the prenup. Travis says, I don't take it personal. It's just logical. Gina is smart to protect herself and the kids. Gina says, what about changing my name? She asked her son Luca if she got married, what would he think if she took Travis's name? Luca says, I really wouldn't care. We were still a family, so Gina's like, maybe I'm making a bigger deal about this. Travis said the kids aren't thinking about it, and I'm not making a big deal about it. It's not like we're going to call off the wedding over it. Gina's then back to like, well, fuck it. I could hyphenate it again. No, Gina, don't do that. So we will see what she does. I think eventually she will change her name. Maybe it'll take her a little longer, kind of like Heather Dubrow did, but I think she will change her name. I think she'll want to. Then we go over to Jen's house. She is having a talk with her son, Greyson. She says, hey, just checking in. Is everything okay with you? And he admits, he's like, things have been hard. And it feels like a lot. So the ticket didn't help, but he acknowledges that was stupid on his part. Jen says, what is a lot? Are you mad at me? He says, no, it's my parents aren't together. I'm with you 7 days a week, but Jen says, you want more time with your dad? Is that still weighing on you? You and, me and your dad not being together? He says, yeah, it affects everything I do every day. I don't see my dad. Just want to say, Greyson, so brave to say that. Kudos to Jen, though. Like the way he opened up to her shows me she is a safe place for her children to tell her these things. You can also tell he doesn't want to upset her, but at the same time, she's asking what's going on. So he's telling. Jen asks, are people being unkind to you? He says, yeah. Jen breaks down and she's like, you're the kindest person I know. And then he gets up to give her a hug and says, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jen looks him in the face and says, I lose you and I lose everything. There is nothing I wouldn't do for you. I'm working on things with your dad. It's a very emotional scene, but it's just endearing to know how much support they have each other and how she's like, let's just talk it out. Like, can we meet in the middle somewhere? What are you feeling? And she wants to know. She wants to help. So I hope this just gets better as it grows. I hope he does get back to a good relationship with his dad. So hopefully there's more on this to come. Okay. We are now at the Trace Amigas meeting at the Quiet Woman restaurant. They are seated at the infamous "This isn't my plate" booth. Tamra asks Vicky's opinion on this little intro she has planned for Shannon. Vicky says, start off with, I'm sorry. Tamra says, oh no, I'm not apologizing. Shannon then arrives and Tamra finally breaks the ice and says, look, I'm happy Vicky put this together. I know Shannon, the two of us hurt each other, but I do want to move forward so we can have fun. Shannon says, a month ago, we sat right here. You said, I'm a drunk, I'm never going to get a man, and I have no money. How do you think that makes me feel? Now, this is referencing the Ultimate Girls Trip. So this is this is weird. This is like cross-referencing, different shows, but it's like filming during the same time. So this is kind of trippy. And then, okay, so Shannon's like, how do you think that makes me feel? And Tamara goes, how do you think that makes me feel? Vicky says, no, no, no. You got to answer her question. Tamara just says, I am sorry I said that, but, and Shannon says, sorry, but Tamara says, how does it make me feel when you get on a live and say it was a gift from you to even film with me? Shannon says, I move forward. Tamara says, that doesn't sound like moving forward. Shannon then brings up the iHeart comment that she made to Emily and was like, "You hurt Emily. And that's how you roll." And Tamra says, "Oh my God, you guys hold on to every little thing. I can't. The stupidest things, you make a big deal." I don't know why Shannon's so like, why she's sticking up for Emily all of a sudden Emily can definitely handle her own. So I don't even know why Shannon would be upset because it didn't really have anything to do with her. So Vicky says, "Let's stay in our lane. I love both of you. I don't have family here. My girlfriends are sacred to me." Tamra then says, "Sincerely, I am sorry for hurting you. I just want to be around you in a happy place." Shannon says, "I am willing to move forward and have fun." Yay! Does this mean the Trace Amigas is back? Woohoo! How long will it last? And will it stay by the time the ladies film the reunion? What did you guys think? As much as I love the idea of the Trace Amigas reunion, I just don't know truly if they can move on. They always seem to push back on one another. Their relationship is so yo-yo-y, but they've shared so much with each other in their lives, so I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. On another note, I hope they do a Bravo special for Gina's wedding like they did Tamra. I kind of feel Gina will want to keep it private, but I'm sure there are advantages to having your wedding aired on TV, aka meaning they pay for some stuff. So I'm just happy for Gina and I want to see her get married. What do you think? Would you want to see Gina's OC wedding special? That's it for this Bravo breakdown on Just Sayin'. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned as I continue recapping season 20 of The Real Housewives of Orange County. What are your thoughts so far on the new season? Send me a message, leave me a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my new YouTube channel. Bye.